Hey guys, my name is Yazmin and I'm really glad to have you guys here. I've got an intermediate yoga sequence that's going to leave us feeling balanced and capable. Meet me in Tadasana at the top of your mat, bringing your hands to prayer above your head, and then with resistance of your shoulders down to your heart. Today, let's commit to recognizing the difference between a physical limitation and the mental limitations that we create that simply don't serve us. Child's pose. If and when your mind wanders during our time together, remember that each time you notice it, you are being mindful. Kindly invite yourself back here, back with me, cat and cow. Push into table, inhale, drop the belly, open the chest, and exhale, bring your chin to your chest. And scoop your belly in as your back arches, connecting both postures and imagining your spine moving like water, unclear where one pose starts and the next one ends. Beautiful, connecting movement to posture. Spread your fingers wide and use your hips as momentum to move and warm up your wrists, shifting the weight and pressure in a circular motion from the tips of your fingers to the outer edges of your hand and back around again. Flip your wrists over so that your palms are facing up and your fingers are pointed back towards your knees. Stay here, or you can shift the weight back towards your heels and then towards your hands. Okay, now flip the toes and sit back on your heels for wrist flexion and extension. Use your right hand to pull your left fingers up. And then switching the grip, pulling the fingers down. And flip over to the other hand. Settle your eyes on something unmoving in front of you that you can return to throughout the practice. It's called drishti, and it's something that's helped me deepen my level of concentration by removing visual distractions, and it encourages my attention back inside of myself instead of everything going on around me. Shake out the wrists. And now we'll move into shoulder rotations. Lift your arms out to shoulder level and rotate your palms to look up at the ceiling, lifting the chin, allowing the back to arch slightly, then internally rotating, aiming for the palms to still face up, but dropping the chin and curving the spine. Inhale up, exhale down. Okay, continuing to work with the shoulders, we'll do shoulder circles, fingertips on the shoulder caps, and sending the elbows back in for circular motions. And then switch the directions, elbows going up and back. Okay, push into the hands and feet into a standing position and make a fist with your left hand and use your right hand to grab onto your left wrist. Inhale, lengthen your spine, then exhale, bending at the waist, stretching the left side body, leaving into the front and back ribs. Inhale, center and switch, making a fist with your right hand. Inhale, back, center, next. We'll move on to the neck. Inhale, drop the neck back. Exhale, tuck the chin. Let the arms hang heavy at your side. Make a full circle to the left, then hunch the shoulders, curve the spine, and then repeat making a single neck circle over to the right, followed by a collapse of the spine, slight bend of the knees. We'll move into a spinal twist. Keep your feet planted firmly into the ground, and with straight arms, swing your torso from left to right. According to yogic philosophy, the spine is the most important part of the body, and if we keep it flexible, we can remain youthful forever. Now bend the arms at the elbows, and hold your twist for just a count. When you turn to the left, hold, and the right, hold. Extend your arms straight up And slowly peel your heels off the floor, keeping the chin tucked to the chest and focusing on a spot about a foot away from you in front of the mat. For more, you can push your chest forward, moving your arms back. Okay, drop down, open the legs wide. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale with force, dropping your hips and bending your knees, wrapping your arms around the chest. Inhale, up. Step the feet together, big toes touching, fingers graze the mat, extend up, biceps squeeze the ears, send the hips back, Utkatasana chair pose. Keep the knees tight together, lower your hands into prayer, heart center. Focus on your drishti point. Send the hips lower, bend the knees. Exhale, push up. Place the palms on your lower back, fingers pointed up. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, push the hips forward, standing snake. And exhale, hinge at the hips, keep the knees straight and settle your hands wherever your hamstrings let you forward fold. Your hands can be at your thighs, knees, ankles, floor, wherever. I like to do my first forward fold with progression, so I inhale into flat back and exhale into a deeper variation, making sure to keep the weight evenly distributed from the heels and the toes. Good. Now walk your fingers forward and press into a downward facing dog. Keep the toes tucked, inhale, up dog, and repeat, starting to synchronize the movements with the breath. I keep my toes tucked the entire time for a seamless transition from up dog into downward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, your right leg floats up. Exhale, curl the knee into the chest, gently dropping the right foot between the hands. Bend your right leg at 90 degrees and lift your torso up, warrior one. Your hands are in Mushti Mudra, the thumbs wrapped inside of fists. Your left heel reaches back, your entire left leg is engaged. Exhale, sink deeper into the pose. Focus your eyes. Breathe. Left arm comes front, torso shifts forward, and your right heel raises. Fighter pose. This pose makes me feel like a Pokemon. Drop the hands to either side of your right foot and shorten your stance. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, drape your torso and drop your head, and imagine your right hip moving back and your left hip inching forward, pyramid pose. Turn out your left foot 60 degrees and settle into your favorite variation of Trikonasana, triangle pose. For this version that I'm doing here, grab your left ankle with your right hand and your right ankle with your left hand, sending the left shoulder more open with each exhalation, opening the chest and twisting the spine. Now move into a shortened stance, downward facing dog. The left hand moves to the left ankle to strengthen the right shoulder. For an added balance challenge, distribute your weight between your right arm and left leg and float your right leg up for two-legged dog. Leave your right hand planted and flip over onto your seat and shift your hips forward, keeping the knees bent and settling your left hand on your knee or by your hip. Opening our right shoulder here. If this is painful, just bring your right hand a little bit closer to the body. And flip back over, downward facing dog. We're still working with our right side here, guys. Inhale. Chaturanga Dandasana, upward facing dog. exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your right leg comes up. And again, dropping the foot between the hands. Take all of your weight into your bent right leg, extending your left leg straight back behind you. Your foot is flexed. The toes are pointed down. Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana. Arms will be at your side, and slowly as your right leg straightens, you'll move the hands, the arms to hug the sides of your face. Without dropping the leg, hug your knee into the chest. Using your pointer finger and your middle finger to grab on to the left big toe, extended side standing posture, opening the hips. The right hand can be on the hip or extended out to the side in line with the shoulders. Drop the left leg back into a low lunge. We're moving into runner's lunge. Our right leg is bent at 90 degrees. Our hands are pushing our hips forward. Every time you breathe, you feel a more intense stretch in the left quad. For more, you can drop your fingertips onto the floor, open the chest for a slight back bend. Stay there, or using your left hand to grab onto the left ankle, pushing the heel in towards the hip. Twisting the torso back forward, focusing on your drishti point. Why are you practicing? Stay committed. Now we'll shift the weight forward. The right heel is flexed. Flat back, exhale, drop the forearms, bring the chest on top of the thigh. Half splits. You're more than welcome to stay here, or you can extend the right leg forward, moving into full splits. I know that this position is painful, but it's sitting through that discomfort and using the strength of our mind to push ourselves into more difficult postures that makes us grow. That's what yoga off the mat means. It means taking the skills that we use when we put ourselves through crazy postures into real life. Okay, guys, now find your way into a comfortable seated position right after you take a relaxing child's pose. And you know what? We'll move into an upward facing dog. Okay, we're going to be moving into one-sided Kapalabhati, the skull shining breath. So we're going to take our left pointer finger and we're going to press it into the space between our eyebrows, the third eye. And our left thumb is going to press into our left nostril while the right hand relaxes on the right knee. Close the eyes and forcefully exhale. Out, 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 using the belly, expanding and contracting, but only actively thinking of the exhalation. We're sending energy through our right side channel here. Still working with the right side. Inhale up. Hold your breath, retention, or you can hold all three bandhas. If you're not sure what that means, just hold the breath. Release the locks. Exhale everything. Hold the breath. Here we're encouraging all of the energy that we've just built to stay inside of us. Nothing is slipping out. Take a moment to see if you're noticing any sensations in the right side of your body. I can't help but smile here. This is one of my favorite pranayamas, breathing techniques. Is the right side feeling heavier, warmer? Just notice what's going on. Okay, guys, to balance out the body, we're going to repeat everything onto our left side. Down dog, left foot inhales up. Drop it between the hands, sink the hips low, square the hips, lift the torso up. Warrior one. Hands mushti mudras, so our thumbs are inside of our fists. Our shoulders are rotating out, our chest is inviting. Give me a little smile, guys. Come on, it's just pain. It's just pain. Lift the heel, the right hand moves forward as the torso slightly moves toward the bent foot. The back leg is engaged. Come on. Okay, shorten the stance, pyramid posture. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, drop the torso onto the leg. Try to relax the kneecaps here. Okay, turn out the right foot and move into any variation of triangle. I like this one because it's a really intense bind, so I'm getting a really cool spinal twist, but I'm also really opening up the shoulders. I love how this one makes me feel. Exhale out of the posture and move into a shortened stance, downward facing dog. Right hand goes to the right ankle to strengthen the left shoulder. And if you're feeling balanced, you can slowly start to lift the left foot off the ground for two-legged dog. This pose is what's going to strengthen us enough to do successful arm balances. Okay, leave the left hand where it is and flip over for one arm rack position. So move the hips forward, take a deep breath, settle the body, stretching into the left shoulder. We're about halfway done, guys. Flip the body back over, downward facing dog. We're going to move into a vinyasa flow. So chaturanga, dandasana, hugging the elbows back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Send the hips back towards the heels, tuck the toes, press the hips up, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes up, curl the knee into the chest. Drop the foot, lift the right leg off the ground. You can keep the left leg slightly bent here. We're moving into warrior three. The right foot should be flexed, the toes pointing down, and our arms are squeezed at our side. The fingers are active, and you are looking at the spot between the mat and the ground. Slowly, the hands come forward. There's one line from the heel to the tips of the fingers. Straighten the supporting leg. Now, without dropping the right leg, hug your knee into the chest. Focus on your drishti point. Your eyes are unmoving. Good. Now use your pointer finger and your middle finger of your right hand to grab on to the right side big toe, externally rotating the hips. My left arm is out in line with my shoulders. My hand is in Gayana Mudra, connection of the thumb and pointer finger, and I'm looking towards it. I drop the right leg back. We're now going to move into a low runner's lunge. My left leg is bent at 90 degrees. My hands are pushing into my hips. The hips are like a magnet for the mat. To add a back bend to this posture, drop the fingertips gently onto the mat and lift the chin. Stay there, or with your right hand, grab the right foot and pull or push the foot in towards the body and twist the body back, bringing the left shoulder back, the left hand gently placed atop your left knee. Find your focus point. Wherever you're focusing your attention, that's where your energy will go. Shift the weight back and flex the left foot. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, half split. Instead of focusing on bringing the nose to the knee, think about bringing your chest directly on top of the thigh. You can stay there in half split or inhale up, exhale, extend the hips for full split. A very common cue is to keep your hips square, and if that means something to you, please do. But some people, like me, can't physically keep our hips square. You know your body better than I do, so if there's a modification that you need to do to make this pose effective, go for it. I'm only a guide. Okay, use the strength of your hands and shoulders to push out of the pose and extend the arms forward, drop the hips, child's pose, short prostration. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, child's pose. Now make your way into any comfortable seated position. I'm just going to turn to face you guys. And now we're going to do the left side Kapalabhati. So take a deep breath, close the eyes, left hand will stay on the knee, right forefinger presses into the space between the eyebrows, and your right thumb is going to close your right nostril. So you're going to be breathing only out of the left side. Exhale, 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 exhale. Your belly is filling and contracting with each breath, energy flowing through the left side channel, the moon side, the feminine side. Inhale up, hold the bandhas, relax the neck, or simply hold on to your inhalation here. Don't let go. Exhale everything until there's nothing left inside of your lungs and hold it. Notice any sensations to the left side of your body. We've now effectively balanced our right side channel and left side channel, so we'll move into some more hip opening. So open the knees wide and bend both legs to 90 degrees. This is a really deep hip opener, frog split. If you're really flexible in your hips, you are more than welcome to move into a full transversal split. Keep your torso parallel to the ground here. Use your forearms as support, or you can just kind of keep pushing into your hands if you're not quite this low. Or if you're very flexible, your entire chest would just be laying on top of the ground. Make your way up to standing and twist 180 degrees to the left and leave your hands on the ground, on top of your ankles, or if you're familiar with this pose and you'd like to add a bind, do your thing. Unlock the twist, and we're going to move into the frog split one more time. I'm going to turn around so that you guys can see what this position looks like from the back. So we're inching the hips closer to the ground. Imagine somebody pushing onto your lower back. I know it's uncomfortable, but we can do it. I believe in us. It's just pain. Okay, walk the knees together, stand up, and now twist 180 degrees to the other side. Drop the torso forward, and do the same hands that you did to the other side. Okay, now we're moving into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. So bring the heels as close to yourself as possible. And we're going to do one hip at a time. So using some pressure, some strength in our arms, we're going to open one hip and then flip over to the other side, push into the knee, opening the other hip. Okay, now we're going to open our feet like we're reading a book, and we're going to use our elbows to push the knees closer to the ground. And if you'd like to move into a deeper variation, you can drop the torso forward, bringing the forehead down to the ground. Make sure your feet are open. This one's really good for moon cycle cramps. Okay, now open the legs wide. Keep the feet active. This is wide angle seated pose. So we're stretching out our left side body here. Keep imagining that your hips are externally rotating. Okay, and then inhale and then exhale. We're going to do a forward fold just to one side. Side seated angle pose. Bringing the chest all the way down to the thigh. Inhale up, back to center. And then side stretch to the opposite side. You can grab onto the foot, you can grab onto the space between the knee, or you can leave the arm floating in space. Just try to turn your head slightly up towards the hand that's reaching, and the other hand can sit on the floor or on top of your opposite thigh. Inhale up, twist the torso, forward bend. It's important here to maintain contact of both of your hips on the floor. Externally rotate your hips here. Keep the feet active. And now we're going to go into a forward bend. Slowly inching our fingers away from our body, encouraging the torso to sink deeper towards the ground. Keep opening the hips, keep the toes pointed up. Inhale, release out of the posture. Bring the feet together. Now we'll do reclined hero. So internal rotation of the hips. If this isn't accessible to you, you can just sit down on your heels and use your hands to bring the flesh of your thighs in towards each other. If you are in hero, you can drop your forearms down to the ground, your fingers pointed towards your toes, chin tucked in slightly. Keep the knees together, and you can drop onto your back, arms extended out. Beautiful. Make your way out of the posture. And open up the hips, keeping your heels on the ground. The heels are turned out, and using your elbows to push your knees further apart. Malasana. Yogic squat. Hands in namaste prayer in front of the chest. Press into the hands, walk the feet forward. We'll move into Bakasana, crow pose. If you'd like to practice this arm balance, just leave the knees on top of the elbows, a little bit above them, and just start shifting the weight forward and back until you can lift the toes off the ground. Drop out of the pose, lay down on your belly. We're now going to do a shoulder closing posture. So both arms are underneath our throat. Let's start with our right hand on top. So your chin is just going to be hanging out on top of the fleshy part of your right arm. Your hands are in fists. Your lower body is completely relaxed. Just thinking about weight in your shoulders, trying to bring both of them down onto the ground. Use your hands to push up and then switch so that your left hand is on top of your right. Let the head hang. From here, push up onto your knees, keep the toes tucked, and use your hands to push your hips forward. This is step 1 for camel. Stay here or drop the head back. You can reach onto your ankles with your hands. You can untuck the toes and stay there, or you can move into the deepest variation of the pose, which is half wheel. I'm working on it right now, so it's not perfect, but the only way that it's going to get any better is if I keep trying at it. If your head and your neck are starting to hurt, if it's bent back too far, you can keep the chin tucked in. Okay, release onto your back. Bend your legs at 90 degrees. Clasp your hands behind your back. Press into your heels and lift the bum up. Bridge pose. Bringing your shoulder blades closer together underneath you, keeping the chin tucked. Chest raising forward. Try to keep the knees close together. You can stay in that variation, or you can bring the heels a little bit closer and grab onto your heels with your ankles and push up again. Amazing. Keeping the knees together. Press into the sides, the pinky toes of both feet. Move into that variation or the first variation again, or bring your hands in line with your ears and push up into full wheel, chakrasana. You can stay up on your heels, or you can peel the heels up off the floor. I make this movement quite dynamic, so I shift the weight onto the hands and then more on the feet, encouraging my chest to come forward and back. Okay, release out of the pose. Let's lay down on our backs for a moment and see how we're feeling. It's one of the most powerful positions that we can have in our practice. It creates a full circuit of all 7 chakras. Okay, bring the hands in line with the shoulders, T position, and drop the legs all the way down to the ground on your right side and twist the head to look left. Gentle spinal twist. Spinal twists are generally the last part of our practice because the spine requires a lot of attention before it can twist like this. Inhale the legs back up, exhale bend, and drop to the other side. Try to make both shoulders really heavy here, allowing both of them to stay on the ground. With each exhalation, twist deeper. We're nearing the end of our practice. Inhale the legs up. Drop your legs out extended in front of you and let your arms relax by your side. Allow the feet to turn out naturally. Try to sink your lower back as much as you can into the mat. This is our last pose, shavasana. Reflect back on what your body just did. Were you honest with your body? How effective was your mind at willing your physical body to do what it wanted? Stay present here. You can stay in shavasana for as long as you'd like, but for time purposes, I'm going to make my way over to fetal position. So rolling to one side. Then I'm going to use my hand to push myself up into a cross-legged position. I'll sit in lotus here. Shoulders down, slight smile. Inhale the hands up, palms together above the head, and with resistance, down to heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, guys. Feel free to do this as many times as you would like, and I will see you all very, very soon.